Right. Let's start today's session. In the last lecture, we were discuss about .NET framework versions and also .NET Core version. Even we have discussed code execution process in .NET. That means the moment when we write .NET programs and execute, how the code is going to be compiled and what kind of compilations, like how many types of compilation takes place, I explained clearly. Now, in today's session, .NET Core framework components are there, which is really important in interviews. There are so many questions may raise in the context of interview. This area, which is really important, so .NET framework components. So, .NET Core framework components. Yes. Or .NET framework components also, we can call it as. So there are mainly two major components are there in .NET Core or .NET Framework. Without these two .NET Framework components, you can't imagine there is a .NET and you can't write .NET code and execute. So writing .NET code is important. At the same time, execution of .NET code also important. So writing code and execution code, both are very important. So for that purpose, we have .NET Framework components. The first component is BCL. It stands for Base Class Library. These also called as FCL. It stands for Framework Class Libraries. Framework Class Library. And the second component is CLR. It stands for Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime. These two are the major components which we have in .NET programs. So base class libraries, these are also called as FCL, Framework Class Libraries. And next component is CLR, that is Common Language Runtime. Okay, fine. So this component will involve majorly in the second compilation of .NET program execution. As I said yesterday also, CLR is the main component. So it is very important to execute our .NET programs. How Java peoples, they use JVM architecture. Same in .NET, we have to use CLR architecture. So let's talk about first component is base class library. I'm saying just without base class libraries or framework class libraries, you can't write .NET programs. Why? I'll tell you the reason. For example, C++ programmers, they import header files on the top of the program before going to start writing their logic. So header files means, has include stdioh, has include conio.h, console input, output, like that only. And Java people also, they use packages on the top of the program before going to start write their logic. Same here in .NET, we need to use base class libraries or framework class libraries. These also called as in .NET namespaces. Okay, we have to import namespaces on the top of the program. These are the libraries. So that means whenever the first time when we install .NET Core framework or .NET framework, there are plenty of libraries will be installed in our system automatically. As I said, Visual Studio, when we install automatically, Core framework libraries will be gets installed. These libraries are very important. So in .NET, most of the cases, you need not to import any libraries because .NET will include all the namespaces by default, which is required basically. But when it comes to Java or other languages, programmer has to import the libraries which they want. But in .NET, mostly flexibility is there. No need to import manually. So most of the cases, built-in libraries will come by default. In case your built-in library is not satisfied with your requirement, then only we can import our own libraries by importing our own way. Okay. So base class libraries or framework class libraries are nothing but just header files like in C, C++, packages like in Java. Same in .NET, we have base class libraries or framework class libraries. So every base class library or every class library is in the form of two different ways. One is .exe form. Next is DLL form, DLL. So this is exactly two types of, two forms of base class library. First one is .exe form. Next one is DLL form. See, what is .exe? .exe is an executable file actually. .exe is an executable file. Okay. So which is having an entry point. It is having an entry point. Entry point in the sense main method of the program especially. So entry point is nothing but what? Main method of the program. So .exe is an executable file which contains entry point. That means it's having main method, that is static void main. So main method, it is there. That's the reason whenever you double click on .exe, automatically program will directly execute. Why? Because directly it will execute means it's having an entry point. Main method is there. But whereas DLL stands for Dynamic Link Library. Dynamic Link Library, we can say that. DLL stands for. It is not an executable file. It is just a supportive file. Okay. .dll is a supportive file only. It's not executable file. What file? Supportive file. It don't have entry point. No entry point means no main method. No main method is there. So DLL is nothing but dynamic link library. It is a supportive file. It don't have any entry point. So that means no main method. That's the reason we don't get output immediately when we use DLL. Yeah, go ahead, Ashwin.
Sir, when we are talking about the DLL's dynamic link library, is this something that we called it as a class libraries?
Class library, yes, we can have the class library only. DLL can be created by using class libraries template. In that library, class library in the sense collection of classes. Each
Yes.
class we can implement it and keep create DLL. Once you create a DLL, see class library after building, after execution, only the DLL form will prepare. This
Yes, sir.
DLL can be attached to any application for reusability.
We just need to add the reference, right?
Yes, you have to add the reference automatically through this DLL. The reference will be added to target application. In that application, whatever you have imported or implemented in your classes and method, directly you can consume it.
Thank you.
That's what we can say supportive file. It won't run directly. Rather than we can reuse this one. But whereas .exe means what? Directly executable file. Code directly we are using. We have prepared already executable file that we are writing directly. It's having an entry point. Main method is there. But we don't have main method in the DLL. It is a just supportive file. It will add some resources to the other application to support to that application execution only. So ultimately, I can say DLL is nothing but reusability purpose. In real time, DLL role will be most important role in real time implementation. I'll tell you simple example. Suppose using .NET, we are going to build some banking application. Banking application. One company is there. That company is going to handling banking application for some client. So already they have written some banking logic and everything, and they build a lot of files. Okay. And what they can do means they can prepare all the logic through DLL only. Whenever new client come across, then that client also related to banking related application if they want. So the company development people already the developed DLL with banking logic already with is there no with the DLL. So they can able to reuse into other client applications directly without rewriting lot of code again. And based upon the client requirement, they can do little modification also. So that's possible. So after modification of DLL, we can rebuild it. So it will be affect automatically modification or changes what we done. So reusability purpose DLLs are important. That's what I'm saying. It is a supportive file. It will not be directly execute. Rather than it will help to other application to run properly. But whereas .exe means executable file. Directly we can run our own application without taking any DLL support or anything like this. So base class libraries directly we can run, or indirectly we can run by adding reference like DLL only. That's what I can say. Base class libraries are in the form of two different ways, .exe way as well as DLL way. And ultimately I'm saying without having base class libraries, you can't write .NET programs. Again, don't think so. Base class libraries means not only user defined. User defined means we are going to create DLL. Built-in means automatically will come along with a .NET Core framework. So maximum all libraries by default will come. In case do you want to come up with your own requirement, own functionality, you can prepare your own library. That is user-defined libraries. Class libraries, two types, predefined or built-in libraries, user-defined or customized libraries. Both we can use. Predefined or built-in means which is provided by Microsoft. Directly, they are asking to use. User-defined means we can prepare our own classes, class library with this collection of classes and implementation. And we can reuse them into other application according to requirement. So I'm just concluding that without base class libraries and built-in class libraries, you can't write .NET programs. Okay. Microsoft is providing lot of libraries to make the program writing simplification to the development. Next, once we ready with our code by using base class libraries or built-in libraries, no matter. Next procedure is what we have to execute our code. Compulsory to execution purpose. What is required? CLR component is required. Without CLR, you can't run your .NET applications. You can't get service. That means result. So common language runtime is one of the most important component which help to run our application properly. This will provide runtime environment or execution environment for .NET application code. But how CLR can understand different programming languages? Because as I said in the last lecture, .NET Microsoft people provides lot of programming languages, not only C#.NET. We are learning C#.NET fine because it is the most popular language. But among that, apart from C#, we have VB.NET language, J#, F#, JScript, VC++.NET, and also Iron Ruby, Iron Python. Many plenty of languages are there, which is Microsoft family. But programmer may written the code in any language, no matter what they want. But who is responsible to provide runtime environment or execution environment for all .NET programming languages means CLR only. Common language runtime only will provide execution environment. How it provide means, yes, here CLR is having 4 subcomponents actually, which is important subcomponents. Why? First, I will tell you CLS. One is CLS, that means common language specification it is. CLS means common language specification. Common language specification. This is common language specification. Next one is CTS. Common type system. It is related to data type system. Common type system. Next, GC. Yes, it also play the important role while executing .NET code, that stands for garbage collector. Garbage collector. Next, JIT, just-in-time compiler. It is associated with the CLR, which will compile the program in the second compilation. See, sir, here, these 4 subcomponents will play the major role while running the .NET program with the help of CLR. Imagine that if any one of the subcomponent is not performing well, that means it's not going, it's not do its task well, then there is a problem in the execution procedure, because every subcomponent is having its own responsible to provide the runtime environment for .NET application. If any subcomponent is not act well, then you will get trouble. So just because of all four subcomponents support, CLR can provide runtime environment or execution environment for .NET application. Let me explain what roles will play by these subcomponents. So first, let me talk about CLS, Common Language Specification. See, sir, here, Common Language Specification means this component especially can be used for language interoperability purpose. So here, this term we have to understand very well. So language interoperability meaning is what? Writing programming code in one language, that means C#, and it can be understandable by other language also, like VB.NET, for example. So we can write the code in one language which can be understood by other languages. This is called language interoperability concept actually. Yes, we .NET through we can achieve clearly language interoperability. That means in the .NET family languages, you can write the code in any language context. While execution, the context will be commonly converted into CLR format. Okay, for example, you can say CLR is having its own specification, and common language specification can do what, we can create .NET programs with the C#.NET, VB.NET, J#.NET, F#.NET, no matter it is. What language you are using, that is your wish. But every language rules and regulations and syntactical rules and regulations are different. But here we need to convert that all syntactical rules and regulations into CLR understandable format. Who will do that internally while execution means CLS subcomponent will convert all the language specification or rules and regulations into CLR understandable format. So just because of CLS subcomponent will convert all the syntactical rules and regulations into CLR understandable format, then only CLR can understand all the syntactical rules and regulations of other languages. It provide environment for different applications, different programming languages. Fine. Syntactical rules and language specification purpose, we have CLS. But what about CTS? This is especially to understand the data type system mechanism. Common type system, or we can say this is data type system. See, sir, C#.NET language data types are different. VB.NET language data types are different. Maybe other language what we choose in .NET family, that is different data types. But when it comes to running procedure, during the program execution time, different programming languages code data type should be converted into CLR understandable data type format that can do by CTS. So CTS ultimately take responsible to convert all programming language data type system into CLR data type system. So that's purpose we have CTS subcomponent. Generally, data types are two types in CTS context. Okay, I'll talk about this later in C#.NET point of time. Value types are there here. Reference types also there. Data type mechanism, two types in C#. Value type and reference type. Yes, both types you have to discuss clearly. What is meaning of value type means the value which is going to directly stored into the memory location. For example, you can see int I equals to 100. I can say this is value type. Why? Because the value directly we are going to store into I memory. I can have the memory. In that memory only we are storing my value like 100 only. Reference type means what is, the value which is not going to store directly into the memory location, rather it refer other memory location. For example, int j equals to I am saying. So here j is a reference type actually. Why, sir? Because I is going to refer to the j, so that means j is going to take reference from I. So directly value will not stored into I. I is referred to something like j variable. So it is a reference type only. Directly we are not going to store the value into I memory. It is referred to some other memory, that is J variable. It's a reference type. So later we will get clarity, value types and reference type. Generally, I can say reference type means arrays, array list. These are all reference types. Okay, string is also reference type. It refers some group of characters. Value type means like normal types like integer, float, bool. These are called directly we can store, no, that are value types. So these two under comes into data type system. So common type system is going to take responsible to convert all programming language data type system into CLR data type system, common language runtime data type system, so that it can provide and it can understand all the data types clearly at running time. So it will provide language runtime environment. So fine. So understanding specifications, rules and regulations like syntaxes purpose, we have common language specification, and understanding data types or converting data types from one language type to common language runtime type purpose, we have CTS. And third component is, which is really important, just because of this garbage collector component is there. As a programmers, we are happily writing the code and execution of the code. So if imagine that if there is no garbage collector, so there is a big trouble in the context of allotting memory and deallocation of memory point of view. So you know that in programming part, memory role will play the important role. Memory role is important here. So what is garbage collector? Let's see here. So garbage collector main purpose is what? Automatic memory management. So AMM, automatic memory management, we can say that. This is automatic memory management. What is generally automatic memory management means? I'll tell you. See, sir, in C#.NET language or any other language of .NET. So as a programmer, our main target is we have to write some logics and we have to write some programs. So our concentration is only to write the logic and to write the programs only. But we never think about, we need not to think about how memory can be handled it internally. So we need not to contribute any logic for memory management process. Okay, only our fully concentrate to perform the logics. What is your requirement exactly? Based upon requirement, we need to write the code, logic and all. Okay, we need not to worried about automatic memory management, how the memory can be allotted, if memory is sufficient or not, and who is going to be de-allot memory whenever it is not necessary. So that all internal process, automatically memory can be provided for our .NET code. Who is provide? GC, garbage collector. Okay, garbage is nothing but what? Unwanted or unnecessary. Collector means it will collect unnecessary things and it can be destroyed from the memory. Whenever it will collect unwanted or unnecessary objects and can be destroyed from the memory, automatically it will free up the memory. Once the memory can be freer, our application or programs can run freely without getting any memory issues. But that all take care, all activities can be taken care by what? Garbage collector component only while executing the code by CLR. It's also will play the important role. Very simple, sir. I can say automatic memory management means so many objects we can prepare while writing the program in time. Objects are variables or functions or constructors or anything, whatever you create, that compulsory some memory is required. But ultimately, while writing the code, we don't create any programs or any logic for memory allocation, deallocation, nothing. Everything will take care by garbage collector only. Simple, I can say that the moment whenever a garbage collector perform automatic memory management, generally garbage collector will consider everything is an object. That objects can be divided into two types. One is objects in use. Next one is idled objects. Idled objects means what? These objects are no use. These objects sit in the memory idly. No work for this. So these are unused objects, which is really not useful to run our application. But objects in use are very important because these are useful to run our application. So garbage collector, what will happen? Objects in use are kept in the memory. Idled objects can be destroyed from the memory. So whenever the idled or unused objects or garbage objects can be destroyed from the memory, automatically the cleanup activities will be performed. Cleanup activities means memory deallocation. The memory deallocation can be done by once GC, automatically upcoming feature code whenever we start writing the logic and running the logic. For that, memory can be freely available and it can be run without having any memory issues. But this is completely internal process. It will take care by garbage collector, which is associated with common language runtime. During the program execution, this garbage collector also will play the important role. Just because of garbage collector only, we need not to worry about memory management kind of things in .NET. Nowadays, in every language, garbage collector is there. It play the role for providing automatic memory management process. So this is garbage collector important, which is associated with CLR. Now tell me, Ashwin.
Sir, take an example that on a particular server, an application is started,
Hmm.
executed, and now it is deployed. And I mean, this is working on a web. Now, that particular server have CLR at their backend to manage the GC
No,
garbage collection.
I'm not speaking about completely backend server wise. See something here that server management, memory managements are different actually.
No, sir, I'm just talking about the objects only, which is
Yes,
the
yes.
part of application.
The objects
If
only means during the compilation time I'm speaking, running time only. See, sir,
so,
you are speaking about server side. When it comes to ASP.NET, that is server side. That memory management is different. That is session management, cache mechanism, temporary storage also at server side, it can be maintained.
sorry, sir. What I'm saying, take an example. An application is written into C sharp. Now
That
that
is fine.
application is
Uh,
deployed and hosted on a server.
uh,
So that specific that C sharp code specific objects is handled by CLR when it is
uh,
running.
Obviously, which is running CLR only.
So it means that the CLR should be there in that on that server, right?
Obviously, it should be integrated with the server only internally because we have written completely code with the .NET Core or .NET framework. No,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere framework it is there, core framework is there, CLR is integrated only.
It means that the .NET should be in place.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
thank you.
means the thing is that's the thing actually here. There is again we need to discuss deeply, man. Actually, so I can say clearly, whenever GC is required to deallocate the memory or any cleanup activities can be done internally, immediately the GC component will react and respond. It will call destructor. So there
Okay.
is a concept in C#.NET, especially we'll discuss deeply in object-oriented programming. Constructors and destructors are there. Constructor means to construct something when object we create initialization takes place. Whenever whenever constructor execute, immediately behind the scene destructor also can be followed by that one because when if it is object initialization task is over, again the fields and all data fields cannot hold the data in the memory. So once the task is finished, immediately destructor can do the cleanup activities, deallocate the memory. After that only the GC will come into the picture, destroy those objects. So ultimately it is going to be make to run our application memory free.
Thank you, sir.
So next coming to the part JIT, just in time compiler. So this is no much more speaking about JET because JIT is associated with CLR. It is another type of compiler. So especially this JIT compiler can be converted into MSIL code into byte code or native code or system understandable code. This is also one of the subcomponent which is associated with CLR. So ultimately I can say without CLR or without having these subcomponents, you can't provide execution environment or runtime environment for .NET application. Each and every subcomponent will play the important role in CLR. So these are the .NET Framework core components or framework components. See, base class library through, we can write the logic because Microsoft will offer a lot of libraries. We can import it and write it. After writing, do you want to execute your code properly or run your code properly? CLR component will useful. These two are major things here. But in this context only, there may be chance, even if you attend interviews as a fresher, as an experienced candidate, no problem. So you will get many questions in this case. They'll ask what is the role of CLR, what is the CTS importance or GC importance, what is .exe and DLL. There are so many questions there may be chance to raise. So you have to be prepared. This is very important. So this is total introduction of .NET core or framework. Only .NET introduction is over. Now it's time to begin our programming language simple introduction. So after that, we will start immediately coding part. Okay. So because I said this is our main target for initial days of learning .NET. So which will play the important role in entire .NET package. Wherever you go, like even ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, language integrated query, everywhere this code only you have to write. So that's what you must have the proper knowledge in C#.NET topics only. So let's talk about C#.NET. What is C#.NET here? See, sir, C#.NET is one of the most popular language in Microsoft.NET family. So C#.NET is a programming language. C#.NET is a programming language. Generally, language can be used, which is used to write the logic or coding part for the application development. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write coding part for the application development. Any application do you want to develop, then we can use C#.NET. And C#.NET is a high level and general purpose object oriented programming language. Yes, it is purely object oriented, same like Java. C#.NET is a high level general purpose object oriented programming language. Sir, what is high level? I said just now, high level meaning is what, high level means all the low level activities can take care by programming language itself. So low level activities means what? Memory allocation by garbage collector. Okay. So internal activities purpose, variable creation, object creation. So all references and internal process will take care by language itself. So that's called it is high level language. That means all low level activities can take care by programming language only. What is meaning of general purpose means if your programming language is general purpose, that means using that language, we can develop lot of applications, not only specific applications. For example, application area of .NET means I'll write it console applications, Windows Forms applications, web applications, uh, WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation, WCF, Windows Communication Foundation, and web API, MVC, and graphical user interface applications, gaming applications, many business applications, network programming, lot of applications we can build using with only one language. So that's what it is general purpose. C#.NET is not for specific purpose application implementation. It is designed for general purpose, means any type of applications we can easily build using C#.NET. And you know that what is the uh, advantage of object-oriented programming. If any programming language is object-oriented programming, that means that language will provide lot of security while implementing the logic. Reusability means we can able to reuse the code multiple times. So we will save the programmer time. One time you can implement, many times you can reuse that code using object-oriented. And also most important feature is application enhancement. The moment once we develop some logic according to the client requirement, later if client come up with new requirements, we can extend the logic by using object-oriented principles. There are so many principles are there, we'll discuss while working with object-oriented. So C#.NET is a high-level, general-purpose, object-oriented programming language. And C#.NET is a case-sensitive programming language, sir. That means while defining variable names and function names or class name, what the names you have used, like lowercase, uppercase, the cases are very much particular, same way how to use. C#.NET is a case-sensitive programming language. Yes, you have to follow the rules and regulations, especially while writing the code in C#.NET language. But look at this. I want to give some small information about this C#. So already previously before C#.NET I'm speaking, like there is C language is there, C++ language is there, and even Java also there. Okay, because these are before 2000 already it was there 1990s. So C++, Java. As I said that Microsoft released the first version of .NET SVL programming language also C#.NET in the year of 2002. At the time, Microsoft think that already the languages were there like C, C, C++. Then we are coming with new languages. The language name, what should we give? In that thought process, they were expecting during the release time, this programming language is going to become most powerful programming language. So obviously it is powerful only, no doubt at all, because even some features Java do not support where C#.NET we can achieve. Yes, that literally true. I'll also give you proper examples during the topic discussion. So that's what they have choose the symbol sharp. This symbol we can call it as SHARP sharp. So some students may call it a C#.NET, but actually this is not a hash sign. It look like hash sign, but they are giving sharp sign. This sharp sign is the musical note actually. So there are 7 musical notes. So C# is the musical note. Okay. That is a powerful note among several musical notes. So that's what anyway, this Microsoft thinking that this language is going to become powerful. Anyway, C# musical note is also powerful. So that's what they have given the name called C# only. So C#not. Okay. Don't call it as C#. This is C# only. SHARP sharp you have to pronounce. Fine. And coming to this C#.NET versions, as I said previously, .NET framework versions, core versions also I explained. We are in .NET Core 8.0 right now, but accordingly C#.NET versions also there, sir. Let me quickly show you what are the C#.NET versions are there. These are the C#.NET versions. Look at this. Let me copy paste quickly. This is the C#.NET versions. As I said, that first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. So C#.NET 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are in right now 12. C#.NET 12 you are going to learn because we are using .NET Core 8. Automatically, if you are using .NET Core 8 through when we create applications, that language is integrated with 12 only. 12 version you are using. That means, for example, you choose target framework .NET Core 7.0, your C#.NET version is what? 11. If you choose .NET Frame or target core 6.0, C#.NET version 10. So if anybody asks you what version of C#.NET you are going to learn means 12. 12 is the version. Even I'll show you clearly while working with Visual Studio, while creating application, there was a C#.NET 12 will be visible. Okay, these are the C#.NET version clearly. 12th version right now it's going integrated with the .NET Core 8 platform. Coming to this application area, as I said that C#.NET is a general purpose language. So what kind of applications we can build using C#.NET means or any .NET language? This is the main application areas, sir. Let me read quickly. These are the application areas. First application mainly we are going to focus in this console application, sir, because our C#.NET major topics will be covered with the console application only, including object-oriented, basics, everything. Okay. And the database communication and everything with C#.NET with Windows Forms application I can cover. But during the ASP.NET start, we will go for complete web application development process. But major application, these only. But additionally, yes, .NET through we can build Windows services, web services. Web services means right now we are calling web API. This is the old pattern web services, but newly, so with a lot of communication channels. So there was a web API concept is it that we can cover. And web WCF is also, it is an extension of web services only, Windows Communication Foundation. WPF an extension of Windows Forms Application Presentation Foundation. This is completely GUI applications. GUI means graphical user interface. Window Forms, WPF or GUI. Even web application also GUI. But what is the difference between web application GUI, Windows Forms application GUI means the console application, Windows Forms applications are standalone applications. Standalone or desktop applications. What is the meaning of standalone or desktop? The application, if it is standalone or desktop, means that can be run on only one particular system where we install it. But when it comes to web application, means these applications are distributed applications or online applications. Once we host the web application onto the server, around the globe, anybody can access by typing web address like www.yourwebsitename.com. So this is distributed or online applications. And even we can build using C#.NET, MVC applications, model view control, gaming application purpose in Microsoft is having Xamarin tool, and business applications. You can collect the requirement from the client, and based upon the clients, you can build your application logic. Even mobile applications purpose Xamarin tool is there. Gaming application directly we can prepare, no problem. So these all the different areas, different types of applications we can build using .NET. So that's what we can say. C#.NET is not specific purpose. They design only general purpose. Means using C#.NET you can build any type of applications, no matter. So this is application area and basic introduction of C#.NET. Now it's time to start with the coding part with this introducing Visual Studio. Okay, so Visual Studio, especially in Visual Studio, we are going to start creating first console application only. Once we create console application, from there onwards, we will start coding part clearly. So next tomorrow and day after tomorrow also you have a demo sessions. So feel free to attend. Okay. And in tomorrow and after tomorrow, we will introduce console application, and with proper coding styles, I will write in the Visual Studio patterns so that you will understand clearly how to manage Visual Studio with proper coding styles. So after tomorrow and after tomorrow demo sessions over, so you must enroll for this course. Then only you can able to join on Saturday session. Tomorrow, Friday, Thursday and Friday also you have demo session. You can feel free to join in the same link without having any trouble. Once next two demos over, you must enroll for this course if you're really interested to continue with my lectures. Otherwise, you can take the decision, no problem at all. Okay. So see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we will launch Visual Studio. We will prepare C#.NET application coding and what are the techniques we have to use, especially in Visual Studio. That is very important, sir. Don't miss it. If you miss tomorrow and after tomorrow, again, you will be trouble whenever you rejoin the sessions again. You can't understand it properly. That's what I'm telling you. Just attend tomorrow's session so that you will get full clarity how to manage Visual Studio, what options are there, how to prepare the classes, how to work with multiple classes, how to change startup objects, okay, how to set the entry point to execute. These are all techniques you will come to know with Visual Studio. Don't miss it. So if you have any question, feel free to ask me now. I'll be wait here for five more minutes.
Sir, will you provide a video, sir? This is recording.
Yeah, these recorded videos already keep on recording daily. Even this is the third video lecture. This also they'll upload to our YouTube channel. Okay, already demo videos, only 5 videos they'll upload. And once your enrollment process is over, then our DurgaSoft team will send your mail ID to me so that I can share that all recorded videos up as of now, whatever I conducted to your Google Drive. And along with C#.NET complete PDF material also, I'll hand over it to you.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So,
Yes.
when we are going to start this session, from the actual classes. So we start from the console application, Windows Form, web applications into the
No.
.NET in the .NET framework, and then after completing it, then we will move to .NET Core. Is it?
No. Directly console application, Windows Forms application, web application, everything I'll explain through core framework only.
.NET Core.
Core only, yeah. There is no framework because that's
Okay.
completely gone. So we have to learn completely core version. See, sir, actually, I can say that simply. I can say that in the context of C#.NET console and Windows Forms application, there was no much more changes when compared to .NET framework as well as core framework. Literally what I observed. But real difference you will see, extremely differences are there when it comes to ASP.NET.
Okay, sir.
That clarity. The moment, even because I have 10 plus years of experience in .NET teaching, even in the teaching level, which I have a lot of updations I took. So from 2008 onwards, I'm teaching .NET actually. At that time, we use Visual Studio 2008 only. So from 2008 to 2022, we observed a lot more changes. Even I know that what actual thing is. I observed any version update, there was no much more differences between C# with the core and framework, but I have a lot of difference observed while developing ASP.NET only. Because we teach ASP.NET with normal framework, with normal classic web applications, pages creation, web forms like that. And even we teach with normal ASP.NET MVC without core. But whenever we turn to into core, we have lot of changes we observed. That's why better to learn core.
Yeah, that is a demand of the
Obviously.
market.
Yes. But even I think that whoever already know about .NET, ASP.NET MVC with framework or ASP.NET Entity Framework with framework, ASP.NET API with framework, they can literally understand the core framework easily. According to my context, I'm speaking. Whoever familiar with already with MVC with framework, entity framework with framework, they can easily grab it. They don't much more face struggles actually because they know what are the scenarios they maintain in normal MVC. But when it comes to core MVC, complete scenarios will be changed. So anyway, you are a new learner, so nothing to worry. So you can able to understand from core itself, nothing to worry.
I worked on MVC 4 to 5 years.
Obviously, so that you will see the lot of differences while learning, no doubt at all. So for new learners, there don't be any problem because they know directly that they'll know that core only. But you have already idea about normal MVC without any core concepts. So you will see the lot of differences. Complete extremely changes are there.
Sir, I'm fresher. Please tell from basics.
Obviously, basics only. I'm teaching completely from scratch, man. Don't worry. We are in right now C#.NET language. Even I have not started any coding. Tomorrow onwards, coding classes will start. You will see how it is look like. Very simple and simple way I can explain you. Everybody can understand. No doubt at all.
Okay, sir. Okay.
We are starting with basics only. C# after, SQL Server after, then ASP.NET last. Because if you know that all language principles and the coding styles, if you know, and even if you know the database knowledge, then only we will enter into ASP.NET. Otherwise, you can't understand ASP.NET directly if you go.
Yes. Okay, sir.
You just leave it to me. I'll take care everything. No matter whether you are fresher or experienced, or if you don't know about any uh, other language rules and regulations, everything fine. You can start learn from C#.NET itself, no doubt at all. You will understand clearly. Only the thing is you should put little effort for practice.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So have a nice time. See you tomorrow. Don't miss the tomorrow session because we are introducing the coding part of C#.NET.